To make a monster. My brother, God rest his soul, had a short life. He had been obsessed with old horror movies and comics. The real Hollywood monsters of old. The Mummy, Dracula, and Frankenstein's monster. On a summer's day, back in 1982. Ricky, my brother, was so excited. I recall he insisted on ordering something in the back of Monster magazine number 4. There was this strange little ad in the back with the caption, "Pick the monster you would like to be, there was no cost other than shipping. Just cut out the ad, circle the monster you would like, send $9.99 for the shipping and handling and cross your fingers." Ricky, as well, hoped it was a monster costume. He picked the Mummy. But I could tell he wanted them all. So I made it my mission, as a good brother, to head down to the local drug store. For anyone that doesn't remember, this is and was the only place you could buy comics. Back then I had the Schwinn Stingray. With its banana seat and ape hanger handlebars, the Stingray was dripping with motorcycle vibe. The image of the rebel or loner who rode a motorcycle was a permanent part of popular culture in our town, and not lost on grammar school kids. Although I couldn't name Marlon Brando, the image from The Wild One was inescapable, along with Steve McQueen in The Great Escape. I also loved the TV show Then Came Bronson. When I got on my Stingray, it was more than just a bicycle. It was freedom. It was my first love and the last gift I ever received from my father. The drug store wasn't far, just down the hill. Each time I climbed onto the Stingray, I felt free, almost as if I could fly. I grabbed some money from Mom's tip jar. She was a waitress at the local grease joint. I guess me and my brother were some of the first latchkey kids. Mom would leave us on our own. If we had any issues, we would just run over to the neighbors and they would help. Looking back, I find it sad that you can't do this anymore. Neighbors are not neighbors anymore. I liked going to the drug store. We still had ice cream and soda pop. Places like this don't exist anymore. It was like walking into your grandparents' house, from the smell of medication to apple pie and vanilla ice cream. The spinning comic book rack was over beside the pipe tobacco. Even as a child, I loved the smell of sweet pipe tobacco. So my hunt for Monster magazine number 4 had begun. My plan was to buy every single one the drugstore had and rob Mom's tip jar for the money. This was my brother after all, and someday I might need something from him. After spending about 30 minutes, spinning the squeaky rack, I couldn't find it. I found a copy of number 3, but there was no trace of the copies I was looking for. Disappointed, I made my walk of shame to the ice cream counter and sat down. It must have been a slow day because I didn't see anyone but me and the druggist. The old graying man made his way over to me and said, "What would it be?" I asked for a strawberry malt. The old man was quick but a master ice cream craftsman's behind the counter. Handing me my malt and a straw, he asked me why I was so down. I explained about the comic, and what I was up to. To my surprise, the old man said the comic hasn't come out yet, still another week. At first, I thought maybe he was too old, forgetting things like older people do. After some time of arguing, he went over to the rack and picked up the copy of number 3 and gave me this strange look. "Look here," he said. He pointed to a page in the back. "There will be no number 4 for a few months. The company that makes the magazine will be moving to another printing press." This is when I got this really bad feeling like something bad was about to happen. Sure, childhood is about learning and you get confused along the way, but at this point, I didn't know what was going on. My brother had shown me this magazine. I held the number 4 in my hands. And now this old man, basically proved I was crazy. So he would not make it a point to tell my mom. I laughed it off and agreeing I had to have been confused. "Oh, while I got you here, would you mind running your brother's pills home as you go?" My brother's pills, I thought. as I said sure, no problem. The druggist handed me a small paper bag, with a tiny bottle of shiny black pills. I grabbed the bag, and as I went out the door something odd caught my eyes, maybe it was the light. But the old man looked younger just for a moment. Stay paranoid, my friends.